This is Texans TV.
What's up, H-Town, and welcome into Texans Playbook. My name's Drew Doherty, and the city getting ready for Reppin' H-Town Day here inside NRG Stadium when the Texans host the Buffalo Bills. The new unis will be worn for the first time in the team's history. There won't be a bullhead on the side of either helmet, and there's going to be an H at midfield. So, to preview the matchup and to talk about a few things more, we've got head coach DeMeco Ryans with the Texans radio crew.
Joining us now in studio, head coach DeMeco Ryans. Coach, how's it going?
Hey, going great. Good to see you guys. Love the jacket, too.
Oh, no. Well, it's Reppin' H-Town week, so here we go. We're repping. We'll get to that now. I want to begin with a quote. Whatever it takes, whoever it takes, however long it takes, finish with a win. DeMeco Ryans 2024. Okay. So expand on that. Obviously, that was the case against Jacksonville.
Yeah, that was the case. We talked about it going into this week, how everybody's talking about how Jacksonville was in desperation mode. They needed to win. And then speaking to my guys on Saturday night, I was like, we're in desperation mode. Like, we need this win bad. And it was just a reminder, like, you don't know whoever is going to show up and make the play of the game. Like, which play is it? I was going through our team meeting. It's like, oh, this is the play of the game. Jalen Petrie with the PBU. This is the play of the game. Foley and Mario with the stuff on the quarterback draw. Or Eric Murray with the stop on third down. Dare with it. It's like every single guy, whoever suited up for us, it would be whoever. Whoever we needed to make the play at that time, we needed to make the play to win a game. And however we needed to do it, it was not in the fashion that you would like to do it, but, hey, offense needed to drive down, milk the clock. That's what it took. Defense, you needed to win in the 4-minute mode. You needed to get the offense the ball back. We did it. Tommy, we needed to punt a great ball to flip the field. We did it. And so it was whoever, it was whatever, however long it was. I didn't want it to be on those that long, but
no overtime.
No overtime. Finish with points, no overtime.
Coach, that last drive was kind of interesting because it feels like it goes from a 2-minute drive to a 4-minute drive, which are completely different ways of approaching it. When did that kind of happen for you? Was it the throw to Nico when you're like, okay, we're at least in field goal range, then maybe we kind of go to a little bit 4-minute mode here? How did you kind of handle that last drive from a game management standpoint?
Yeah, right. That's the strategy from that standpoint. You want to press forward, get across midfield, and then you want to get into the red area. And so that explosive to Nico over the middle of the field, that got us into the red zone. And so there was kind of, hey, let's pump the brakes a little bit. Like, let's keep moving the ball forward. Let's run it. In that situation, I think Jacksonville still had 2 timeouts.
Yep.
So at that point, our strategy is we want to score, but we want to leave them with as least time as possible. So make sure we get a completion, or we're running the ball to make them burn their timeout. All right, they burn one, run it again, make sure they burn the timeout, and then we want to burn the timeout under 30 seconds and then have a couple cracks at the end zone there.
You mentioned Dare obviously caught the game winner, but that run to get you inside the 10 and other plays throughout the game, and this is on a day where you don't have Joe, you don't have Damian, guys got to step up.
Yeah, guys stepped up, and, no guy more important than Dare, right? With him just being dependable, being trustworthy, being where he's supposed to be, whether it's he helped out in protection, with as a back coming out of the backfield, but also just check downs. I think he had 4 targets, 4 catches, over 50 yards. He was that outlet when the defense took away the deep digs and the deep ball that we were trying to throw. CJ was able to check the ball down to Dare, and he was able to turn a check down into first downs, and that's very important for us.
Coach, one of my favorite plays, and I saw it up on the video board when it was happening, and I've thought about, you talk about swarm mentality, and I think immediately for a lot of people, the swarm mentality, you think defense, there's 8 guys going to the ball and all that kind of stuff. But I also feel like it can come from the offense, and there's a throw to Nico on the sideline where he runs into Johnson, like literally right in front of you. And I saw how energized you got from that. Right. How much energy did you take from just seeing that physical stuff from Nico?
Oh, man, that's everything. When we talk about what's our style of play, like I want receivers finishing inbound. I don't want receivers running out of bounds, giving defenders a down off. Like, you finish through them and get as many yards as possible. And Nico exhibits that every single time he steps on the field. That's why I love Nico as a player.
Yeah.
Like, he brings his all each and every game. And the way he finished on the sideline is how I want every ball carrier finish. You finish forward and you deliver the blow to the defender.
Yeah.
What does it say about him? He's drafted in 2021, and you see some elements of it, and then you take over, you get CJ in here. It explodes last year with him, and obviously the greatest start ever for a Texans receiver this year through 4 games, receiving yards. What does it say about him and the work he's put in to improve? I know you want to see guys get better all the time.
Sure, and Nico, he's shown that. Like, you talk about getting better and putting the work in. Like, one thing that sets him apart is just his size, first and foremost. He's a big physical receiver. And then people don't realize how fast he is. He's probably one of the fastest guys as well. And then just his mindset of just working hard, being deliberate in practice, and working on that, just being consistent and reliable. He's done that. He's put that work in, and now he's one of the best receivers in the NFL.
And Coach, you asked us about at your presser about, Daniil said something in the locker room about, in essence, Coach got into us a little bit that we needed to respond. What was that about, and what response did you get? I mean, it felt like statistically you could see it, because I think their last 15 plays, it was 11 and 12 total yards, something like that. It was crazy. But what was that moment about, and what was kind of the message that you wanted to deliver to them that you wanted to see on the field?
Yeah, that moment, it was, for me as a coach, I just feel energy, and just watching how we were playing, some of the runs that got out on us, it was just uncharacteristic of it. Like, we set the edge. Yeah. And we don't set the edge, and they get a run for 22 yards. Like, we supposed to be sticky in coverage. We're just letting guys run by us, and that's not who we are defensively. And then as the guys come over to the sideline, guys were looking down and feeling dejected. It's like, man, what are we – like, it was that moment where us, like, what are we doing? Like, we got to snap out of this funk or whatever we're in. We got to snap out of it, and we got to pick it up, get the energy right so we can win a ball game. Yeah. Like, we can't be feeling sorry for ourselves now. Wait till the game is over and we lose, and then we're talking about the corrections. No, get it fixed right now. And I just wanted them to feel where I was, the urgency that I had, the desperation that I had to get a win, and that's how it should be every week.
Yeah. How much of football is that fire, that energy that you need? You want to be schematically right, but you have to play with some extra aggression on Sundays, right?
Yeah, you have to. And that's where all teams don't play that way. And that's where I feel like we can have an edge on our opponent. We're going to play it right schematically, and then you play with that extra energy, that enthusiasm, right? The extra effort, like more guys showing up to the pile, not only defense knocking the pile back, but offensive line, are you showing up? Are you pushing the pile forward? Like, when you do that, teams start like, man, how can we – it's too many of them. How can we stop these guys? Right. Like, they are truly all over the place. They're playing hard. They're playing relentless. And some teams will start to back down when you do that.
I want to talk about something, if you don't mind, that we talked about in the postgame. And I thought about this all the way home, about just that moment. It's 4th and 1, changing quarters. You go all the way down to the other side of the field, and they get to think about it, but you get to think about it. Yeah. You talk to your guys, you remind them, and there's so many things I would imagine that you want to remind your guys of. Hey, remember this, and you've only got a small amount of time. But can you take us through that moment of them changing the core? You just had Sting knock that pass away. Now it's 4th down. Are they going to kick it? Are they not? Can you take us through the kind of that moment, that thought process that you had before Foley and Mario got that stop?
Right. Well, it starts with the big run that they had, and for them to get into the red area, it was already like, okay, it's 4 down territory. Like, they're going to try to score a touchdown on this, so let's win 3rd down. You can't get too excited about the win on 3rd down, but Sting, outstanding play by him. And then quarter ends, and it's like, okay, I'm talking to Dino. Dino does our red zone preparation throughout the week. Hey, what are you thinking? I'm thinking sneak. What do you? Yeah. And it's like, well, where are they on the field? So there's a lot of conversation going back and forth with the coaches, but I'm just like, man, they're running quarterback sneak. If he's under center, it's sneak. Empty is probably quarterback draw. So we made an adjustment there with our defensive tackles to get them tighter. Yeah. And Azeez did a really great job of communicating to those guys of, hey, just stay inside. Like, whatever you do, stay inside. So Azeez and his communication, Foley and Mario, of actually executing it. Yep. it was man, what a play.
Yeah.
But you felt like no way they're throwing it right here. You expected the quarterback draw.
No way. And Aziz even brought it up, like, and while we were in the huddle, he brought, hey, when I was in Tennessee, hey, Trevor, he just does this on his own. He would reach. So Aziz was thinking it, like, so it made it even more powerful when the players have some thoughts in their minds, too, of what type of plays to anticipate.
How strong is that for players? We talked about this, Marc and I, for a long time. Players that have recall. I would imagine you have that. You can think back to a play that you had back in, 2009 when you were playing against a particular team. But how important is that for a player to have that recall and be able to share it with his teammates?
It's very important and interesting you say that. Most of the recall happens on the bad plays. So it's true. That is true. Those plays, I remember it like, oh, man, I gave him a touchdown on that.
Forget it, though.
Yeah, but you never forget, though. I say you never forget the scars. Yeah, like, in those scars, you never forget. And, it's just – you talk about executing, and we needed a play most right there after the gut punch of just seeing that run go for as long as it went. I mean, man, what a play for Foley and Mario to stand up when we needed, and for Foley to make that play versus his old team. Mm-hmm. We always talk about guys, when you go against your old team, you want to kind of be the reason why you win the game. And Foley, he showed he was one of the reasons why we won that game.
Yep.
A little later, we've got a cinematic breakdown of the game against the Jaguars, plus when we return, more with DeMeco Ryans.
Texans Playbook is sponsored by Community Coffee, strong as our roots, by Reliant, the official energy provider of the Houston Texans, and by your Houston area Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Texas.
We'll see some hints of H-Town blue in the uniforms this weekend when the Texans host the Bills. We're happy that you're watching us here on Texans Playbook. Drew Doherty inside NRG Stadium. And we've got more of our one-on-two conversation with DeMeco Ryans.
I just want guys who really, really enjoy playing football. Okay. And I think it starts there. When you really enjoy what you do and you're not just doing it because you can do it, like you really have passion behind it and you have a desire to get better, like those are the guys I want to be around. And you talk about guys, we have so many guys on our team that are like that, even like Joe Mixon, Diggs, the guys we've added, Aziz, like guys who show that type of passion for the game. Those are the guys I want to be around.
No, it's true. It's true. He sees you, and you
really?
see him.
Oh,
it's
my
true.
goodness.
It is. I mean, you just watch him play. But, Coach, I think about Aziz, one of the things just watching him and just listening to him, seeing him deliver the message in the huddle before the game, that he plays with that swarm mentality you talk about all the time. I mean, that's a guy that I would imagine watching, whether it was San Francisco or Tennessee, that stunk watching him at Tennessee last year, but it's beside the point. But now, can you see that sort of rub off on the other players? Like, can you see that sort of rubbing off on Henry now that those two have been together a little bit?
Yeah, without a doubt, you need that leader. You need that quarterback. Like CJ is a quarterback on the you need that quarterback of the defense. And that's where Aziz has done an outstanding job this year of being that leader, being that voice, where it's not always coming from myself as a coach, but I know that Aziz is going to deliver the right message. I know he's going to get the guys going. He's going to rally the troops, and we need to be rallied. And, guys are going to feel his passion. They're going to feel his energy. And it's not only talk, like it's substance, because he's going to back it up with playing our style of ball. Like he's going to play physical, relentless. And that's what matters most, when players see the style that you play with, and the talk just backs it up as well.
Coach C.J. Stroud, I don't even know what to ask. Thoughts on C.J. Stroud?
C.J. Stroud.
End of the game, it felt like, all right, this is going to happen. In fact, I was surprised it didn't happen with 5+ to go, but your defense gets the ball back one more time. You knew you needed it. You got it. You made it all work out.
Yeah, it's the thing for me, Marc, it's the calm and the result. In that moment, it was like – it's the calm for me that sets him apart, and just being such a young quarterback, for him to have that type of resolve as a young player and to methodically just drive us down the field and not waver. Like it's this confidence that he's exuding confidence in a manner. I'm like, okay, this is gonna happen. Like let's watching him work. It gives me confidence just watching the way he's operating on the sideline and just hoping he finds Nico down there somewhere to make some play. And I mean, you can't say enough about, a young quarterback playing the way he's playing. This game versus the Jags, probably the best game he's had since he's been with us. It's just him just the little things of just trying to play in the pocket, like when it's not there, having the micro movements in the pocket to step up. That's not there, then escaping. Like,
Right.
and he was very calm the entire game. He went through all of his progressions the right way. Like, got us out of some bad plays there. It's just over and over again. We needed plays. We needed guys to step up. CJ did that for us.
Coach, I think what's telling about your teams, not just this year but last year too, that second half was not going really well for the offense.
Right.
And I know too many 3-and-outs to your liking. And like you said earlier, the defense was not playing the way that you thought they should play or that they could play. And yet, when you needed the drive, all the penalties went away. You stayed ahead of the sticks, and you moved the ball. Is that a lesson for your offense to say, hey, this is how good we can be, guys? Let's take these things away and see what we can be and how scary that offense can be.
That's the approach, and that's what I show the guys. It's like, it's not a matter of not being able to move the football. Like, we can move the football. We move it in those 2-minute drives and situate. Like, but let's continue. We're an explosive offense, but when we get out of our own way, whether it's penalties or it's guys not executing the call the right way, like when we clean those things up, like we can be a very explosive offense, and they've shown that. Now, we don't like all the 3-and-outs and the punts there in the second half, but like you said, whatever it took, like it took a 2-minute drive at the end of the game to win it. Like, okay, we're able to do that. Now, let's clean up all the other stuff. So in games like this, if we don't have to be in these situations, let's not make ourselves have to come back in these type of drives.
I'm wondering, when you open up training camp 2025, part of your speech can be, hey, you never know what's going to happen, because we had an offset eye with Dario Gunbowale and British Brooks, and no one could have predicted that in 2024 at the start of training camp, with the game on the line, time running out, and you made it all work.
Wow. Oh, man. What? I couldn't believe that.
But it shows you everybody's so important, and you never know who's going to be able to contribute.
Yeah, you never know, and that's why I never try to predict like who makes the team, or this guy, he's a lock and you have to have it. Like, no, you let it all play out, and the old coach always told me it'll all sort itself out. It always does. Like, you can't worry about, I have too many receivers at this spot, or we don't have enough guys here. It's like, just give it time, and it always sorts itself out. And have Brooks and Dare in there for the game-winning play. No one would have expected that at the beginning of training camp.
I mean, Danny Zuko over here is trying to get us to 2025 already. We got a lot of 2024
I know,
left.
but I think about all the work you put in the offseason, and then you have moments like that because you're looking for that slight edge, and these games are decided by that edge, right?
Yeah, they are, and that's where it's so important for players to understand, like, whatever your role is on the team, like, just own your role and do it to the best of your ability. Like, you can't worry about playtime or getting the ball and like how many stats you hit. Like, that doesn't matter. Like, just line up, be where you're supposed to be, play as hard as you can play, and you'll make the plays that you're supposed to make.
You brought this up in your press conference, not to bring up the P word, but penalties. But sometimes they're going to happen, right? You're going to make a mistake, or maybe you're just trying to make a play, right? Not all penalties are a total disaster, but you want to cut down on those overall.
Yeah, for sure. You want to cut down on, the things we can control, like false start, jumping off sides, those things we can't control. Some of the penalties that get kind of thrown on the offensive line aren't always the offensive line, like a couple of those with where CJ has to get the ball out quicker. Right, so we're not downfield. We got illegal man downfield a couple times, not really on the offensive line. That's on us structurally, right? Offensively, get the ball out quicker, get us in the right play call on a couple. So penalties are a team thing, but the ones we can't control, we definitely have to control those.
All right, the Amity Bank Ask Coach question of the week. It's Rep at H-Town week, all right? We're Rep at H-Town. All right, so you got to Houston in 2006.
Yes.
So tell me what's special about Houston to you. This city, H-Town, you've seen it, and you've been away, and then you've come back. So give me your thoughts overall on Houston, Coach.
Yeah, the biggest thing for me with Houston is, coming here in 2006 and being here for however long now it is, it's just the people, right? It's just genuine, good-hearted people like that that treat everybody the right way. I've always been shown love here in Houston from fans, from my church family. Like, it's just always been love, and I just really appreciate the realness of all the people here in Houston. Very diverse city, neighbors of all different backgrounds, different cultures, but Houston always feels like home. Like, no matter where we all come from, like when you're in Houston, you feel like anybody you run into is like family. And that's the unique part about Houston I really love.
Coach, thanks a lot for joining us. Good luck.
Thank you.
After a quick break, General Manager and Executive Vice President Nick Caserio joins the show. We're back here on Texans Playbook as preparations continue for the noon matchup Sunday against the Buffalo Bills, and it's now a good time to hear from the Executive Vice President, General Manager Nick Caserio, who talked with Marc Vandermeer and John Harris of Texans Radio.
Joining us now in studio, it's Executive Vice President and General Manager Nick Caserio. Nick, great to see you. How's it going?
Fellas, good to be here.
All right, so we have a lot to talk about with the Buffalo Bills coming to town, but let's go back and discuss the win over Jacksonville. Gritty. It was really an all-hands-on-deck needed situation. Got the win at the end.
Yeah, it's all about finding ways to win football games, and that's the most important thing, and we're able to do that there at the end of the game. Say some of the things that stood out, some of the situational football, end of half, end of the game, those ended up being kind of the turning points in the game. There's some other areas that weren't necessarily conducive to winning, but we were able to overcome some of that. Players made enough plays in the end. We did a good job running the clock down there at the end. 2-minute execution, which is something with 2 minute. We walk through it every day, the communication, some of the nuances that go into it, and then managed the clock there a little bit, and then basically scored with 16 seconds left. Forced them to use their timeouts and had to handle a couple ball handling opportunities there with the kickoff and then defending a couple plays. So it's always good to win football games at home in the division, put ourselves in a pretty good spot, and we'll have a challenge here in front of us here, which we'll talk about in a little bit.
Nick, besides what my wife once asked me, she said, isn't every play a situation? I was like, yeah, I guess. But there are certain ones that pop up more often, 2 minute, 4 minute, those kind of things. How often do you guys work on that? Because you watch college football as much as I do. I watched it this past weekend. I saw more colleges really just botch the end of a game just because they really didn't seem to have a focus on it. How much focus do you guys put on it during the week? Coaching staff, your staff, everybody.
Sure, you try to cover everything, and I would say a lot of teams, I would say right now, they have, I would say, a game management component where you're just looking specifically at those players and you have their plays and you have discussion during the week. How would we handle that situation? If this comes up, this is what we'd want to do. Here's a few examples of what happened during the course of the game. So you take that information, you try to figure it out within your process. How do you apply it? The reality is you don't have any idea what's going to come up during the course of the game. Right. You know, early downs, you're going to have first and second down plays, you're going to have third down, but the red area, if you get down there, what that's going to entail, are you going to have some end-of-half plays? Are you going to be on which side of the ball are you going to be on with those plays? End-of-game plays, other situational plays that come up. So you try to prepare for as many of those situations as possible. Hopefully you've covered them. The big thing is making sure the players understand what the expectation is and what we have to do in order to execute in those situations. So we spend a lot of, if you really look at a game, 65-ish, 70 plays on either side of the ball, another 25 to 30 plays in the kicking game. Typically, it's going to come down to probably 6 or 8 plays within those 65, 70 are going to end up being the difference in the game. So not to minimize the other plays, but when DeMeco talked about this in a team meeting the other day, you don't know when that play is going to take place.
Right.
There were a number of those plays that took place in the Jacksonville game a little bit later in the game. Well, it could have been a play earlier in the game that had an impact later in the game. So that's why it's just important to play each play, understand the situation, just make sure you're prepared, and ultimately just go out there and be able to execute.
All right, so in the game against the Jaguars, your defense keeps you in the game. And there was the play with Kalen Bullock hustling downfield, complimentary football because, he's making a big play and then enables the rest of the guys to recover and get to the goal line, make that big goal line stop. Offense does enough at the end. The guys' ability to stick together and win, I mean, every game seems like a hairline between a win and a loss in this league, but you've got 3 victories so far. So far it's working out.
That's what it takes. And not to go back to last year, when you go back and look at some of those games, a lot of plays or games are very similar. I mean, 7 or 8 came down. They were one-possession games, or a number of games that came down to arguably the last play, the last possession. But I think it speaks to the mindset of the players just to keep pressing forward, understanding you're going to deal with some undulations and some ups and downs during the course of the game. But what happened in the first quarter and the second quarter isn't germane to what's going on in the third quarter. And then what happened in the third quarter, you can't really worry about the fourth quarter. You just focus on the task at hand. What do we need to do in this situation? It takes execution. It takes a certain mindset. In the fourth quarter, we executed as a team better than we did in the third quarter. We got multiple stops. We got the ball back offensively. We were able to move the ball down the field and score points when it mattered, covering the kick, forcing them on a long field, and then being able to finish the game. So that's football. You have to play it all the way till the end, and you just have to keep going with the correct mindset and a certain stick-to-itiveness and then ultimately, whenever there's zeros on the scoreboard, look up and kind of see what happens.
Nick, on Sunday, it's repping H-Town. We've got cool Bud Light, H-Town beer cans. We got all kinds of stuff happening. But
I'm not going to be drinking
no,
any
I
of
know,
that
no,
beer,
no. This has
worry.
nothing to do with that, but it's just
we're going to go here.
We're
Cal
in a new
McNair
unis.
shotgun to beer, Nick.
Yeah.
Are you willing to do it on the show?
We're not.
Probably
We're not going to do that. Maybe off season, but not now.
People would lose their minds if I did that. So.
Yes, they would, in a good way. By the way, have you seen the McMahon doc? Or are you waiting to watch it?
I have not. I've actually, a few people have just unsolicited reached out and said that it's worth watching. So
Okay, so I'm going to get to the serious part of my question here. It is repping H-Town. Marc and I have been here for a while. I grew up here. Marc got here as soon as he could. You've been here for the last 4 years. So I'll ask you this serious question that we've asked a number of people that have been on this up here with us. What does Houston mean to you?
Really what it's meant to us is kind of a new beginning and a fresh start and another kind of phase in our life. I mean, my wife and I we grew up on the Midwest. We're Midwest, East Coast people, and then I had the good fortune of being in one organization for 20 years, which doesn't happen. So the opportunity in Houston was kind of a rebirth, if you will, kind of a fresh start, and it's an opportunity for us to experience something new as a family. So I think when we moved down here in February, March, when I was hired, we all came together, and that was important for us to do because, we do everything or try to do as much as possible as a family. And this is part of our lives and each other's lives. So to be able to kind of do it together, so it's kind of a start of a new beginning. That's, I think, really what it's meant to us.
If somebody asks you, what's Houston like, Nick? Well, sell me Houston. What will you tell them?
Oh, start with the food, please.
No, it's a lot of fun. It's vibrant. It's crowded. There's a lot of people, but I think it's a lot of good people that are invested in not only the Texans but in sports. And when you're around town, the number of people that have come up and just said, "Go Texans," or we appreciate what you guys are doing, what we're trying to do for the organization, for the city. It's nice to hear. You're not necessarily doing it for those reasons, but it's just reinforcement that hopefully we're doing the right things where the fans and the city can be proud of the team that DeMeco and the rest of the staff were putting together and the product that we put on the field. And we're doing it hopefully with the right people that represent what the community and what the city of Houston is all about.
Nick, I know in the fall you get out to college games and get a chance to see what you can, whether you're on the road or not, or whatever the case might be. That's a strange question. But do you stay for the whole game, or do you get a chance to see the things you want? And I bring that up because if you had gone to the Georgia-Alabama game, would you have seen the finish? Because that was an incredible game.
No, it's a great question. I haven't seen a game all the way to the end.
Right.
Let's say typically maybe stay to halftime or through the third quarter because some of it is logistics because you're trying to get out before there's a massive traffic surge because a lot of times you're going to another stop or sometimes it's maybe you just go for pregame, in and around some of your other meetings. So it all depends on what you're doing next. I'd say probably my approach is a little bit sort of non-traditional to some folks, but it's just really getting down there, just seeing some players, maybe watching a few plays, and then the chances, unless you're just a fan, you stay to the end. But honestly, some of it is just to get out before the massive surge. You know what it's like trying to leave the parking lot after a home game.
Oh, my God.
Think about that with 100,000 people on a college campus.
Yeah. Well, I figured you hadn't, but I figured if there was a game to have stayed to the end, maybe that one you're not even thinking about it because it's 33-15. You're like, this one's over. And then Georgia obviously comes back. So made me think of it.
One more. How important is it, and I know it's important to the players, to have the fans there when they're coming out of the tunnel? And this is no joke. This is an actual home field advantage kind of thing. So we need to get people in the stadium earlier, and the Texans are doing a lot to make that happen, but it's really crucial for the players, right?
Yeah, look, you're just trying to create an environment that's energetic, that's vibrant, that's upbeat, and you're trying to say to the opponent, like, this is what you're going to walk into, and you're going to have to deal with all of us here. It's not too dissimilar when we go on the road. Like, we're going to have to deal with whatever the elements are. So whatever support the fans provide, the sooner they do it, the better for all of us. No question about it.
Nick, thanks a lot. Good luck.
Thanks, fellas.
Kubrick, Spielberg, Coppola, none of them compare to what you'll see after the break when we return. We're just about a quarter of the way into the season, and last week the Texans turned back the Jacksonville Jaguars. Had to come back on the final drive to do so, and with a cinematic recap of what went down, we hope you enjoy this product.
It's the 45th meeting between the Houston Texans and Jacksonville Jaguars. The Texans lead the all-time series 29-15.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you right now, there's only one thing that matters. This right here. This right here. Every thing you got. Offense protect this. Hey, defense, special team, go get this back and give it back to offense so we can score points. Let's go, man. It's about nobody but us. All about us.
The Jags, the first team the Texans ever beat in the AFC South back in 2002, and that was their first ever road victory.
Hey, family on 3, 1, 2, 3.
The ball is at the 2, 1st and goal. Lawrence fakes the gift, throws right side of the end zone, easy, Pickens, Thomas, touchdown Jaguars.
All it did was allow Trevor Lawrence to pad his stats.
Yep, here's the extra point after the TD. It's 7-0 Jaguars, and that's how you mess around and get yourself in trouble in this AFC South battle. Texans down 7-0. 3rd and 4, Texans at the Houston 36. Stroud in the gun. Here's the snap. Pocket collapsing. CJ throwing over the middle. A dart and a first down in Jags territory to who else but Nico Collins, the man who leads the NFL in receiving yards, gets to the Jags 46-yard line.
Boy, excellent job in terms of the timing.
CJ fakes the gift, throws downfield to his right, and a nice catch there by Nico Collins at the 14-yard line with Darby in the area, but Nico won the battle for the ball, and it's another Houston first down, 19 yards.
Boy, he is really coming into his own. It started last season with over 1,200 yards, and then now the confidence, you start to see it in his body language. Boy, is he becoming a weapon.
3rd down and 2 at the Jacksonville 6, Stroud in the gun. Brooks winged right, Akers in the backfield with CJ, and now Diggs joins them. Handoff, Diggs running right. He wants to throw. Now he cuts back. Diggs across the 5 into the end zone. Stephon Diggs, touchdown, Houston. There's Fairbairn with the cherry on the sundae. It's good, and it's 7-7. Houston and Jacksonville back on D next. 7:23 to go in the first. Handoff Bigsby, right side. There's some room. Bounces it to the outside. 45-50. Right sideline, 45 of Houston, and out of bounds in Texans territory. That was a big pop by Bigsby, who's dangerous. A 22-yard run. Field goal attempt on the way. 41 yards left hash mark here. Well within the range of Cam Little, the rookie from Arkansas. Snap is down, the kick is up, and it's good. So the Jags retake the lead, 10-7. 2nd and 16 from the Houston 20. CJ out of the gun, gets the snap, throws over the middle. Stover, 40, 45, and down at the 47-yard line. Cisco with the stop. My goodness, 27-yard dart. 2nd catch of the year for Cade. First down Texans at the Houston 41. CJ fakes the give, plants looking, and he throws short to Woods. Right side, reliable Robert out of bounds across the 45-yard line, close to a first down. They're going to give it to him. That's a 10-yard play to Robert Woods. 3 empty backfield after motion. 3 receivers wide side right. CJ in the gun. On 3rd and goal, here's the snap. Stroud looking, Stroud throwing back of the end zone. Touchdown, Nico Collins! As Houston goes in front of Jacksonville. Stroud, 144 yards and a touchdown pass so far today. 52-yard attempt, right hash mark. Snap is down. The kick is on the way. Plenty of distance, and it's good. 3 receivers right, one of them in motion to the left. That's Dare. He gets into the backfield. 3rd and 7 from the Houston 33. Stroud in the gun. Here's the snap. CJ backing up deep, looking. He's in trouble. CJ scrambling. Out to the right side. Stroud looking around, throws downfield. And he's got Nico Collins at the 50 to the 45, inside the 40. And the Texans get another huge play from Stroud to Collins, 23 yards.
So strong in his lower body. He's able to shake Hines Allen right off of him, who had a sack.
Stroud in the gun. Dare to his right, 2 receivers left, Nico and Diggs. And here's Schultz joining them as CJ takes the snap, throws downfield. Got a man. Schultz inside the 15-yard line, and Dalton is corralled inside the 12.
Timeout.
Clock running, 10 seconds. Timeout spent. Townsend will hold. Here's Fairbairn's 30-yard attempt, left hash mark. The spot, the kick. It's good. And Fairbairn's triple makes it 17-13 Texans. Crowd gets loud. It's 3rd and 9 from the Jags 46. Lawrence in the gun, ETN to his left, bunch formation to the right. Lawrence with the pressure on. He's sacked deep in the backfield. Eric Murray on the DB blitz brings down the quarterback in a big time.
Boy, did he time it well.
2nd down and 7 across the 41 of Jacksonville. Lawrence in the gun. Bigsby in the game to his left. Trevor gets the snap. He guns left sideline, and Thomas with the catch inside the 30. The ball comes out last moment, but they say he was down. 3 receivers wide side right. Lawrence shotgun. Johnson to his left. 3rd down and 4 at the 8. Lawrence throwing right side. Got a man. Kirk with the catch, and Kirk with the touchdown. Got the pylon, and the Jaguars are in front of Houston with 6:16 to go in the 3rd quarter. Buckle up. With signals, handoff, Bigsby straight ahead, 1st down and more, 50, 45, he's on the move, right side, 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5 to the pylon, and they're going to say he stepped out of bounds inside the 5-yard line. What a call. Bigsby, shot out of a cannon, gets the Jags a 1st and goal. Lawrence shotgun on 4th and goal from the 1. Here's the snap. Lawrence up the middle, and Lawrence is stopped. They turn back. Jacksonville. Foley, Fatakasi. Big play at a big time.
Excellent recognition on the part of the Texans.
So it's 1st down from the Houston 47-yard line. CJ in the gun, bunch formation wide side right. Here's motion by Woods. Stroud takes the snap, fakes the give, throws downfield. Got a man, Nico, left side, 30, and brought down to the 27-yard line, tripped up by Miller. Big play to Nico. They're in range already with 2:35 to go. 3rd down and 3 at the Jacksonville 8. 3 receivers right, empty backfield. Here's the snap to CJ, looking, firing, and caught by Schultz at the 5. It's enough for the 1st down. He dives down inside the 2-yard line. 53 seconds to go. The Jags can't stop the clock, and the Texans have a 1st and goal. Offset eye, CJ rolls out to the right, throws to the end zone, hits Dare, and the Texans score. They lead. CJ Stroud to Dare Ogunbowale, who's had a huge game, puts the Texans on top. It is over. The Houston Texans come back to beat the Jaguars 24-20. A final drive to remember as Stroud found Dare Ogunbowale for the game winner. And the Houston Texans go to 3-1, solidifying their lead in the AFC South. What an afternoon. A heart-pounding affair in Houston, and the Texans come out on top.
When we return, the Texans fan out over the Houston community. Stick with us. This is Texans Playbook. The Texans are always intent on winning a Super Bowl. Haven't done so yet, but that's always going to be the goal, no matter the season, no matter the time. Another big thing the Houston Texans franchise has always dedicated itself to, great things in the community. And with an eye on that, the B.O.L.D Awards were presented in training camp, and we have a little bit of that presentation. The Houston Texans and Coca-Cola celebrated the winners of the 2024 B.O.L.D Awards at training camp. The B.O.L.D Awards were established to recognize Black outstanding leaders and doers who are making a significant impact throughout the Houston area. This award celebrates African Americans who are positively influencing our city through their contributions in community impact, entrepreneurship, social equity, nonprofits, civil service, or as a rising young leader. All 5 recipients received a $5,000 donation in their name to a nonprofit organization of their choice. The Houston Texans are intent on growing the game of football, not just tackle football, but flag football as well. As you'll see, they had a lot of fun doing so recently.
We're here at Lockhart Elementary teaching the 4th graders some flag football. It's wonderful to see the look in their eyes when they start to catch on to what we're doing and they start enjoying it and then they start competing, and it's life-changing.
I was in their shoes once, so it's awesome to pay it back and be out here and do the same thing that was done for me.
I enjoy being out here with the other Lady Texans, giving back to the community. This is at the heart of who we are, and just being together to do this is wonderful. It's a sisterhood with the other girls. Girls can do anything, so just seeing the girls out here today learning this sport, it gives me hope that we can one day get this sanctioned by the UIL and get it in the NCAA, so that's our goal.
1, 2, 3, Texas!
Coming up, a crucial catch for cancer. Stick with us. This is Texans Playbook. We're back here on Texans Playbook. The prep continues for Reppin' the H-Day inside NRG Stadium when the Texans host the Bills. And there's a little bit more of the Texans getting out in the community and trying to catch cancer. The Houston Texans, in partnership with the American Cancer Society and El Centro de Corazon, were proud to host the Crucial Catch Cancer Awareness Rally. Magnolia Park residents and surrounding communities were invited to hear from medical professionals, community health workers, and survivors about the importance of cancer education and early detection.
Screenings are incredibly important, and it's a vital way to make sure that cancer is caught early. My own breast cancer diagnosis was caught because of an annual mammogram. That's what today is really important. It's to educate, to inform, and to really make sure that we're providing those preventative services for our community.
Educational resources were distributed, and attendees had the opportunity to schedule appointments for free cancer screenings at El Centro de Corazon. This initiative was part of the NFL's larger Crucial Catch campaign, which focuses on early detection and risk reduction of cancer. We sure do appreciate you checking us out here on Texans Playbook, and want you to remember, you can go to HoustonTexans.com, you can go to the Houston Texans mobile app, the YouTube page for the Houston Texans to find a little bit more, really a whole lot more, about your favorite football team. For Gardy Swingby and the rest of the crew putting this show together, I'm Drew Doherty, and we'll see you next time on Texans Playbook. In the meanwhile, keep those H's up.